Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashley, aka Green Ash, and today we are talking about my top 5 tips for distinguishing coniferous trees. Now today I will only be talking about coniferous trees that can be found in the eastern United States, since that's where I'm located. And by no means am I an expert. I am definitely still a novice, a beginner myself. So as one beginner to another, these are my top 5 tips. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what I'm saying. Thanks.
This tree is an eastern white pine, or Pinus strobus, in the family Pinaceae. These trees have long, skinny needles, which leads me into my first tip. Tip number 1, pine needles. As seen with this eastern white pine, trees in the Pinaceae family have long, skinny needles. However, conifers of other families don't necessarily have to have needles. This tree has leaves that are more scale-like. Tip number 2. The S's in Cupressaceae stand for scales. The previous tree was a Coniferous virginiana, or eastern red cedar, which is native. This is a Chamaecyparis piscifera, which is an ornamental bush or shrub that is often planted, but it is in the Cupressaceae, as seen with the scales here. This right here is a pine cone from an eastern white pine, Pinus strobus. It's pretty pine cone shaped, right? But what does that really mean? Tip number 3 is to know your cones. Gymnosperms produce cones rather than fruits or flowers as reproductive structures. These cones can be small, tiny, and compressed, or they can be large and cylindrical, almost bigger than my hand. This tree right here is a Virginia pine, Pinus virginiana. See its twisted needles? And this tree looks similar to the Virginia pine, right? This is a Pinus echinata, or shortleaf pine, and it looks really similar to the last one. However, note that the needles are not as twisted. And this tree, the Picea abies, or Norway spruce, seems to have little pokey needles that completely encircle the branch of the tree. This tree has little pokey needles too, though, but these don't completely encircle the tree. Upon first glance, one could get confused. So, tip number 4 is don't assume on the first glance. The saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover," pertains to trees as well. This tree isn't a conifer, but it still keeps its leaves in the winter, which leads me to my last tip. Tip number 5, not all evergreens are conifers.